guys, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and we are about to continue our room tour with you, going and showing you every ball python that we have. Now, will it be a full reptile tour? No, I'm not going to throw the rattlesnakes on the table, nor am I going to throw the caiman on the table. Probably won't throw the carpets on the table, nor the GTP on the table, because we're going to do separate videos and all that here very, very soon, focusing on those animals specifically. So, but we always get requests for, let's see all your ball pythons. We thought we'd do it. So let's continue that. Let's get that rolling right now. Alright guys, and for this snake, what we have is, this one's actually in shed, but I wanted to show it to you because it's different than another one I'm going to show you here in a few minutes, even though it's the same. This is one of our Calitz females. This is the one we sold. It's on a payment plan, so it's not available. It is going to a new home here very, very soon. And like I say, it is about to shed. You can tell by its eyes. But a cool thing on it, so let's look at the patterns it has. So this one did different things than the other one. You can still see some of that orange coming through the tail. It doesn't have near as much orange as the other one we showed you, but look at the pattern, how crazy it got with the Blitz and Calico playing together. This is obvious Calico influence right through there and through there. You can see how wonky it is. And then you can also see on this one, it's got a lot of white coming up through. Still got a lot of pink because it's in shed. That's going to be white. It looks nuts. Just a weird looking snake. And then you've got that cool pattern. It also ended up with a lot more blushing blowing up through all the sides, which I didn't really expect it to do, but it did. So really neat looking snake. No doubt that both genetics are hanging out in here. And you can see the single keyholes. And with the Calico to the Blitz, you don't see as much of the hooping that you do, but the pattern is just so off. It becomes very obvious that Blitz is the culprit in that. Alright guys, here is another example of a callidor. This is callidor number 2. This one's also sold, so you can't get this one either. I have to wait for good weather and ship it off. We do have more snakes coming. You can see it's really watching that camera. These are all born very small, so it took me a while to get them to size, but they eat great, no problems there. It has been laying in its water dish, kind of a dorky little snake. I love these guys. And there you can see that high white, that odd tail, and this is a really great example of the highlighting that I was talking about earlier. Just awesome. It's got coconut bedding all stuck to it too. Let me clean you off a little bit. Alright, so anyway, I really like the callidors. When you add pastel to this, the combination is out of this world. I just really love these. And you can see how high that just comes up. And there it's wanting to come up and touch the black. And that tail just, again, you can see that pattern change. Dead giveaway of the Calico influence into these callidors. Now this is a snake that I'm really excited about, and what you're seeing here, get that coconut dirt off of there, is a yellow belly fire het exanthic. So yellow belly fire het SK exanthic, we can do a lot with it. You can see how bright it is, the color come on the back, you know, all those things you'd look for in a fire. See if we can get you some of the flaming. Now her mom was a fire that didn't have a lot of, her mom's a yellow belly fire, didn't have a ton of flaming, but you can still see the flaming coming through, which is, you know, a sign of both yellow belly and fire. That's more of like a fire type thing going on there, or yellow belly type thing, sorry, there's more of a fire one going on there. So very, you know, apparent that there is definitely yellow belly, or fire, excuse me, fire in that snake. When you look at the belly, you can really see the, you know, the yellow belly showing up with that kind of digitized pattern. So both of those genes are hanging out in there. The belly even is got that yellow tint to it, which not all yellow bellies actually have. But this is just something that when I breed it, especially adding in another pastel gene, so if we go for a pastel fire yellow belly exanthic, see what I'm saying? So you're going to get a firefly yellow belly exanthic. That's what we're really wanting to do using this snake. That's the goal right there. Maybe kicking a little spider while we're at it. Okay guys, when you breed, you're going to have some of these too. This is a normal. They're going to happen. And you know what? There ain't nothing wrong with them. I like, as long as they're healthy, I'm happy. These are snakes that when you breed, some people get angry about making normals, and they get all upset, oh, only normals. And you're going to have them. It's part of the odds, but they're still a living creature. We still owe it to them to try to do the best by them, make sure and find them good homes. You know, typically on normals, they end up selling locally, and sometimes we'll sell them through our retail shop. That's just because it's hard to sell a normal online, you know, because the shipping cost, it makes it kind of counterproductive. But that being said, they are beautiful animals, and the only thing in a morph is typically skin deep. And you could get really deep and talk about some of the neurological issues in this and that, and how it, and you know, the eyes and all of that. But we're really talking about color. That's what we're talking about mostly. So this is every bit as much snake as any other. It just doesn't have that different pattern to it in color. But really pretty snake nonetheless. And it has a very, very busy belly pattern. It's got a crazy belly. Well, show me your belly. Look at that. All kinds of crazy going on there. Hey guys, we're still working on this whole thing, and now we're getting to the babies from our last clutch of the year. That was our Orange Dream clutch. This was not a clutch we killed the odds on, but we did get this little winner right here, which is an Orange Dream male. Now, most of these would be available on Patreon right now from this clutch, but the Orange Dream male doesn't get to be because Kurt said, I'm keeping that thing. And since that was one of his clutches, I understand why. And you're probably like, why are you keeping the single gene male? Well, Kurt really wants to go for some super orange dreams, and you got to have a male to do that, right? So here it is. We've got one, and he decided to keep it. It is a very pretty animal. I do like, oh, I heard you just make a hiss at me. Oh, I know. I won't mess with you too much, I promise. But you can really see the Orange Dream influences all through there. Nicely flamed. Really cool. Okay, you ready to go back now? You want to bite the camera? Don't bite the camera. See, I won't bite the camera. They hiss a lot, but this thing has never taken a swing at me yet. Look at the color on that thing. This is what we think is an Orange Dream pastel, and this is a female. And it would be available on Patreon right now, except for Kurt, so we're keeping that one too. I want all the Orange Dream I can have. This guy hoards Orange Dream like I hoard Exantic. And I can't blame him for it because it's one of the things, when you have that snake that you really want to work with, you tend to do that. But it is such a cool snake. I would have kept it too. I wouldn't have let him sell this one anyway. So, let's see if we can't unwind it just a little bit. Nicely, gently. Yeah, look at the color there on the side. You can see the Orange Dream coming up. So it's way different than a normal pastel, but the pastel color on the back, and then just beautiful. There's the head of it. Just a nice looking animal. How that Orange Dream just cleans everything up in there is just wonderful. Here is another black pastel banana. Again, we're just waiting to ship this snake out. And every now and then you pick your holdbacks, you have to hold two for a while. You almost wonder if you made a mistake. And what I mean is, this one doesn't have that spot on the head that drives me up a wall. They're both gorgeous snakes, but I'm not really even sure anymore which one my favorite would be. If I had to do it all over again, I'd probably be flipping a quarter to pick the holdback. Initially, I picked my holdback because it had less spotting, but looking now, I don't know if that's the case. They're both pretty equally freckled up. This one just doesn't have the one on the head, but it has that same cool coloration to it. Just a beautiful, beautiful snake. This is another snake that looks pastel that we decided to hold back, but it isn't pastel. Well, it may be, but we don't know why it would be because it was from a pairing that never had pastel in it, and a female that's never been paired to a pastel. I know no one's ever paired her. So it was really odd to see two snakes hatch out that look like this. And it does. It shows classic pastel, even down in the sides, although it's a little bit very clean, very nice, but I don't know what's going on. So we kept them. We're going to keep them and breed them, and it may just be an odd pastel that popped out, or two of them, and it may just be a new line of pastel, which really, wouldn't be any huge big thing. But without knowing what's going on, or knowing if these are genetic, we really couldn't say they're this and sell them. So we decided to keep them, to breed them, and figure out what exactly is happening with these. All right, this is our breeder banana male. He is not my most prolific breeder. He has, I believe, fathered at least one clutch. We've had several banana clutches. We had two banana males for a while, but one of them was one we were watching for somebody, so we did use it for breeding. They then were feeling better. They healed up with a traumatic brain injury. There's actually a video about that. And we returned their snakes to them. So that leaves me with just this guy. And he kind of is a stubborn guy. So I'm not sure how well he's going to do this year. We'll just see. The problem is he's a very pretty banana, so I really want him to breed. He's one that's possible calico. He is the only one I've ever seen lock up to my pinstripe, so I'm pretty sure he is the father on that pairing. But on my banana black pastels, I think it is the other male. But really, really cool snake. You can see a little white that came in there. That just wasn't enough to say calico for me. And also the tail pattern just, it wasn't funky enough for me to say calico. You can see a little bit of a joint up there, but nothing too crazy. And you can see also a little bit of some awkwardness in the pattern over here, where that's going. But that's a little high up, and it just didn't scream that this is calico. So it was sold as a banana possible calico. We've always kind of just figured it was just a banana. But hey, maybe one day it'll prove out to be calico. That pinstripe was pretty close. If it would have hatched a straight up just calico, then I would have called it for sure. But it didn't, so we didn't. But anyway, we really like him. His name is Odin, and Odin is very pretty. You know, he was our first banana we ever got. Still love this guy. Alright guys, here is the other Calico Blitz, or better known as the Kalitzball. This was our holdback. And again, you can see that crazy pattern. But look how much orange came out in the tail of this one. And again, Calico is so odd on what it'll throw. But you can just see all that orange. Tons of it. Tons of it. This one's not in shed. This one's looking really good right now. This is how you would expect it to look. And you can see it's got some white from the Calico too. But initially I thought all this would turn white. But it didn't. It stayed orange. So it's really strange how those two genes interacted. It was not what I expected. Whoa, you're kind of getting a little bit kind of freaking out there on me. Let's calm down. I want to show you off some more. If I can get you to relax. Let's give her a second to crawl around. This is one that we were really excited to make. Oh, actually, I want. You can see her belly too. That is just insane. Like, and she needs to poop. You gotta poop, don't you? That may be why you're running around so much. You might poop all over me. Let's not do that. That's disgusting. But just a very, very pretty snake. And I love what the patterns do. Alright, we are on to our adult female racks. This is our black pastel female. She produced for us last year, and she is looking really good this year. Really nice and thick, much bigger than she was a year ago. You can see the black pastel influence, how funky the pattern is. Nice and dark in the right areas. Lots of flaming on this one. It's kind of an interesting one. But she is the mom to the two banana black pastels you've seen. And this year we have been putting her back to banana. That's right, because I just like what it does. So we're going to try to make some more of those. Here we go with another Calico. Now this would be a low expression on the white, but you can really see the white coming in. But if you look at her, come on baby girl, you can really see how funky the tail pattern got. And like I say, that's something I really like. And look at this. It's all joined up all the way down that back third. Really cool animal. And she has produced for us as well. She was mom to our two Calidors, but she didn't make any Calibes. So this year we're going to have to go for Calibes again. We're using a male Calico. I take that back. She was mom. When you breed this much, sometimes you forget who was mom to what unless you go look at your records. She was actually mom to her Kalitz females. So those two Kalitzes you saw, this is a mother to them. She's the one that threw them. And you can see that there's no orange on that. So it's just really crazy how that came out. Just beautiful. Alright guys, next up is our spider female. That is Het for True Ghost. Or not, sorry, not Het for True Ghost. She is Het for Snow. We have some Het True Ghost stuff, but I always get that mixed up. Only in my mouth, not in my brain. So she is a Het for Snow spider, which means she's Het for Axanthic and she's Het for Albino. She's being put to a Het for Snow male this year. We didn't show him earlier because he's deep in shed. But hopefully we can produce some snows with her. And she just got to breed size this year. This will be her first time breeding. I've shown her on camera a lot because I love the pattern on her as a spider. It's very clean without any dotting. So I'm really excited about the offspring that she's going to show. She's kind of the perfect example of what I want in my spiders. So I really, really am excited. I think it'd be really cool to make a snow spider. Our odds that are long, so I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but who knows? We got a chance, right? So we're going to go for it, see what happens, and go from there. This is the camera guy Kurt's favorite right here, the Orange Dream. So she is the mother to all the Orange Dream stuff you saw. She threw the last clutch of the year this past season, but she put her weight back on and is going to be able to be bred again. Apparently she don't like being on this black table that much though. But anyway, here she is. Beautiful snake. You know, Orange Dream by itself is but when you pair it with things, it makes very, very amazing babies. That Orange Dream pastel we showed is just out of this world. But here you can see why. You get that orange on the side, and then overall it's lighter, where the pastel has not got that same color. It's a little bit different. When you put the two together, though, it gets that very, very clean look. It's just awesome. Alright guys, this is our Mojave female. She looks terrible right now. She's in shed. I wanted to show her anyway because this is a pre-lay shed. I do believe she's going to have the first babies of the season for us, bred to her GHI. I'm super excited. Alright guys, this is just an albino, but look at the contrast on it. I love albino. This one was one we handpicked to hold back because of the contrast she showed. One of my favorite albinos I've ever seen, not just produced. I really love the contrast in her. And that's what I look for in an albino, is really nice high contrast. This is a lesser ghost. We're hoping to produce our first visual recessive ghost with this animal. She is up to breeding size, her first season breeding. I just love what this combo does. And she's been being bred to our male, who is a spider het for true ghost. So all the babies will be possible het exanthic as well. Just a rockin' animal. Lesser and ghost together is amazing. I'll tell you, ghost to me is one of those genes that's just really not appreciated what it does. I don't know how well it picks up on video or in camera, but in person, it is just beautiful. Alright guys, this is our fire yellow belly female. We named her Hestia. Let me show you her belly. She is mom to the fire yellow bellies and the pastel yellow belly I showed you had exanthic. There you can see her belly and the yellow belly influence coming in. I don't think it's as evident as it is on some of her offspring, but it's certainly there. And then of course, you can see the fire color and how nice it is on the back line and everything else. But like I told you, not a lot of flames for a fire. She's kind of a low expression on the flaming. You can see them, but it's nothing too crazy. I've seen some with a lot more. But again, she threw good babies. She's beautiful. And we're going to use this to put to our exanthic line, which I don't really need the flames for the exanthic stuff I want to do anyway. Alright, here is our pied female. Now she is very, very light colored, not very dark like the rest of them. She doesn't contain the orange that our male Artemis contains, who we just call Artie because of the sex issue. But when you pair those two together, what I wanted to happen, happened. Her influence lightened up the babies. His influence brought out the orange. That's why on that holdback you saw of her baby, it is just so orange. That's when it comes to picking your breeders, not just by, you know, the gene name, but by how it expresses. Let me show you something too. Everybody's talking about, oh, I got a pie with a smiley face. It's in almost all of them. Found the pattern. Like, she'll bend for me. She's got one too. Okay, frowny face. You get a frowny face. A lot of them have faces. What you got to look for to find a face in your pie is like a single spot, and then you'll usually have it. This is a really simple snake, just a single gene lesser, but I really appreciate high quality single gene stuff. Like, to me, it's not about cramming 4, 5, 6, 7 genes in. It's about the quality of the animal at hand. And she's the one that produced all of our bell stuff last year, bred to a lesser pastel, who we still have. He didn't make the videos just because right now he's having a little bit of a struggle eating, so I'm going to do some tricks to get him to eat, and I don't want to stress him by pulling him out and putting him on camera. Otherwise, so I guess you're seeing almost all of our ball pythons. He's also been pulled out of the breeding rotation this year because, again, he needs to gain a little weight. So whenever that happens, and we pull them out, we do some things with them as opposed to trying to breed them because it's more about their health. But this girl is just beautiful. I really, really like her. She's going to be used to make bells again this year. We do have a lesser male who's deep in shed, like in blue and soaking, so we didn't pull him out either. But he's getting to breed her this year. So we won't be doing any lesser pastels from her, but we will be doing some bells, hopefully. Now, before we took that male out of the rotation and he went on a complete food strike, he was being put to her. So there is still a chance she could produce from him, but I'm not going to hold my breath. This looks very similar to the last snake I showed you, but you notice it's a little bit darker. It's because this is a Mojave, and Mojave and the lessers, and you'll hear lesser called butter too. Lesser butter, it's the same stuff, guys, but Mojave is different. However, it's allelic with it, so that's how you can also get an all-white snake as breeding this, although this is a girl, so you couldn't use that, to a lesser would do it. I mean, you can breed to my lesser. You can breed it to a lesser male, and no problem. You can hit all white snakes, allow them to have a gray head. However, she's being put to GHI, and she is a really light-colored, very nice-looking Mojave. I really dig her, so hopefully she'll throw us some good babies this year. Alright, this is just a simple pastel female, but this was the first breedable female I ever owned. She's awesome. She produces big clutches for me every year. I absolutely love her. She's produced a ton of healthy babies, big offspring, high numbers of eggs, like you're talking usually 8+, and just she is year in and year out my biggest female. To give you an idea, come on, baby girl. Whoop. If they ever want to back up in your hand, don't try to stop them. Let them go through, because if you try to stop them, they're going to pull some of those scales backwards, and you don't really want them to do that. If I can get her to cooperate with me, come on. Remember, I am 6'2". I am not a small guy, people. And this is a nice, big snake. So she is a big, big female. She'll probably approach 4,000 grams this year. And she's gained weight every year we've bred her. I just adore her. This is just a straight up normal female. And I like to keep a couple of these around, at least one. The reason being is if you got a male that you're not sure what all's in there and you kind of want to figure out what's going on, you can put him to a normal female. And your hope is you're going to separate those genes and see those individual snakes pop up. Like, we put the banana calico, or banana possible calico to her this year. The hope is we have a higher chance of throwing just a straight up calico to know if that's in there, or not throw one and know it's not in there. So it kind of helps you decide those things. Plus, she did not have babies. Actually, did she have babies last year? No, she skipped on us last year. So, that's kind of a bummer, but we're going to keep her anyway. She was literally a rescue. I rescued her out of a guy's house that just wasn't doing a very good job with her, so I agreed to take her. Now, she got healthy with me. She's been with me for about 4 years, and she has produced. I don't know if she will this year or not, but even if she doesn't, she's going to get to stay around because, well, I rescued her, so she's mine. I'm responsible for her. She gets to be here. Really pretty snake. It's another normal, but this snake's got a little bit of fame on the channel because Kurt named this one. It's one of the only snakes, I think we have 2 with names that are not in mythology. One of them is, of course, Trouser, my one-eyed trouser clown snake. And then there's this one, which is just named Het Pied Knot. And the reason for that is it came to us as a Het Pied, and we ended up proving it's not a Het Pied. So Het Pied Knot is kind of stuck, and that's just what we call it, the Het Pied Knot. But again, it lays big, healthy clutches. It had 9 eggs last year for us. All the babies were born healthy. One of them actually didn't thrive. The rest of them did. So it was a very good snake for us. I prefer to have all thrive. But you're going to have that every now and then. So she's been good, and she's looking nice and thick. I think she can produce again for us this year. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see what the Het Pied Knot does. Okay guys, this is a very special snake to me, and this is a killer bee, which is a super pastel spider. It's genetically anymore, this isn't anything too crazy, they're not that uncommon. Although I'll tell you, if you go to a show, you don't see them laying around really as much as you'd think. So what we think of as common, because we see on the internet, and what's reality is common, is kind of 2 different things sometimes. But this was the first goal snake we had that we wanted to make when we started breeding. And we hit her, and of course we kept her as a holdback, and she's been amazing. It's also the first snake that we ever had, so we were then able to turn around and breed. So she is our baby that has now produced babies for us. So that was kind of a big step. So I really love this girl. We named her Electra. I still think, and of course, I'll be honest, I'm biased. I'm like that parent in the hospital that of all the babies there thinks that his is the cutest, even though they all look like aliens. That's true. I'm not a big newborn baby fan. They're all kind of cone-headed. But that's completely off topic. Anyway, this here, though, to me is like the best killer bee I've ever seen. Probably because I'm biased and it's mine. That happens, but I love her. So she is kind of this Olympus icon for me anyway. Alright guys, this is just an albino female, and she's a very nice albino. Her contrast has kind of faded a little bit with age, but she still looks really good. Her contrast is nothing like the other one I showed you. That other one is phenomenal. She throws some great babies. I mean, she is mom to her holdback albino. Let me just, for comparison's sake, show you a baby I already showed you. But to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I say this one's got this crazy contrast. And you can see it, right? It's just amazingly different. And how white the white is versus how this one's kind of not as clean. But it's still a very, very nice albino. Produces good babies. She eats really well for me. The only thing this snake does that drives me up a wall is she has a habit of taking food, whether I give her live or pre-killed. It doesn't matter. I've tried it both ways, constricting it and then every now and then leaving it for me, which is really kind of gross. And then it kind of goes to waste. Well, it used to. That's one of the jobs of the dwarf caiman. When I find out the next morning, dwarf caiman doesn't care. He'll still eat it, but that prevents waste. But just a beautiful snake, all told. Okay. Alright guys, this is another champagne female mom to the other one I showed you. She is awesome. We're not going to keep her out too long, so I think she's a little uncomfortable. She's just getting ready to start going into shed, I do believe. I believe she's finished up with ovulation. She is going to be another one that is going to lay this year bred to the Inchi. So really excited about some champagne Inchi. Something I did notice on her the other day is I actually do believe she contains, get some dirt off of her, a small paradox spot. See that? That color is just so awkward. If you look, it looks like a normal ball python color right there in about 3 scales. Nothing crazy, but just still kind of neat. This is another snake who decided to own my arm today, but she is one of our bigger females, and this is Pandora. She was named because she looks just like a pastel, but there's, just like Pandora had a box, although you don't want to open hers, it was terrible. She's got something hidden inside. a secret that she keeps, and that is that she is het axanthic. This was produced by John Dog at JD Constriction. This is Zeus's mom. Couldn't be happier with the offspring she's had. So this year she's breeding to a pastel axanthic in hopes of making some super pastel axanthics, which I'd be just head over heels for. But she's a great snake. She grew well. She's always been a pretty good eater for us, never really given any major problems. Just been awesome. She goes back on food after breeding really well. Just great snake, and you can see her size. Very, very large. So she's going to have hopefully a lot of eggs. I believe she did about 8 last year, so I'm hoping for that number again this year or more. Alright guys, this is Manaya. She is a visual ghost female. She's actually the snake that I told a story about in a video not so long ago about how Kurt wanted a black pastel, and then I found this ghost and I got it that instead, and then I came in with a black pastel anyway, and it kind of looked like I was being a jackass. This is the ghost in question. She did not produce for us last year. She did the year before. And she was late the first year in 16, so that may be why she didn't produce in 17. But hopefully she goes this year, and we're going to work on some visual ghost stuff with her. She has mommed all of our het true ghost stuff we have currently. Just a really pretty snake. Did a good job when she did produce. Very happy with her. Alright, this is just a simple pinstripe female. Now, this is mom to the pinstripe bananas you've seen. Let me tell you, we finally got her to breed size. It took us longer than usual to get a snake to breed size. She was one of my worst eaters I've ever had. She just got kind of stuck on mice. And what she would do is she'd eat a few rats, and then she'd stop eating rats. Then you have to find something else she'd eat. Maybe it was mice, maybe it was African soft fur. She'd eat a few of them, and then she'd stop. You have to find what she really wanted to eat. So it was really hard to keep her eating consistently because she would just kind of change back and forth. But after breeding her and her having her first clutch, she then turned into like a food vacuum. She hardly ever says no to food until, you know, she has to because of breeding. And she eats like a horse. So she is way bigger than she was. I'm not sure her exact weight. But she looks small right now because the other snakes we've been taking out have been huge. But we bred her right at 1,500, and she's probably about, 21, 22 this year. So very, very cool snake, and I'm really excited about what she can produce. I'm really happy she decided after laying eggs to be a good feeder for us, but just really amazing stuff right there. Alright, this is another visual ghost female. This is one that we actually won in a charity auction in Tinley. Now, let me tell you, this is one that's we got a lot of flack over. She was in our video about how to deal with an aggressive ball python, which we call also aggressive/defensive, because that's really what it is. So she's probably been seen in our collection more than almost any other snake. She was one that had a go at me in that video. And let me tell you, she still is kind of that way. She's calmed down a lot and gotten more used to us, but she still is just kind of cranky. And I do believe, I've had people say, oh, if you have a cranky ball python, it is something that you're doing. You can see she's getting ready to have a go at me right now. She is setting herself up for it. But it's not. Like, you can see how many we have, how many of them are sweethearts, and you get this thing, which is just like, hates me and hates my guts. A big part of this is just like people. You meet enough people, you could be the nicest person in the world, and everybody could say they love you and you're great. Every now and then you're going to meet an asshole, right? This is an asshole. So, again, you can still work with them. Just got to kind of give them something, turn them around, and it all still works. I can just cover her up and just change her attitude. So the same thing still works. But she has gotten a lot better with us. And again, she's going to be here forever. But she literally bit me the day I opened the bag she came in. She popped me coming out of the bag. So it's just kind of her personality. Alright guys, this is a snake I'm really excited about. And this is just a het true ghost as far as we know, female. But she is so dark, we don't know what's going on. So I'm really excited to kind of breed her, work with her, and find that out. She's probably still a year away. There's an outside chance she could get there this year, but I just don't think she will. Let me show you something, okay? Keep watch on her. This is a normal looking normal, which is our het pied knot. And you can see how much darker she is when you compare those. I mean, it is night and day. And something else really cool. She should look just like a normal, right? Because she's had is look at the belly. That's a pretty typical belly. Look at her belly. It is like black, like it's rolled in dirt or coal. If you look at the sides too, that's kind of a lighter color white. This is almost green. Just a crazy, crazy colored snake. So again, I don't know if that's just something odd the two hets did. I've also heard of some hypermelanistic, right? Not hypo, hyper, creating more melanin, which is what we seem to have going on here, that were in the collections of some people back in the day, but never proved to be genetic. So, you know, it may be nothing. It may just be one of those random occurrences, kind of like jungle. But my hope, you know, you always have that hope that maybe this is going to be the one that proves genetic. But we'll see. So I don't think any of her offspring will look like her if it is genetic. If it is genetic, it's going to be a random mutation that popped up that will end up being recessive. The reason I think that is because in almost all their snakes that have a hypermelanistic, it is recessive. But imagine this going with some of the other genes, or when you want to darken something up, it would just be out of this world. You know, you could put this with a lot of different stuff and make some really cool babies. So I'm really excited about the potential here. And at worst case, she's still a het true ghost. So really awesome little snake. Okay, last but not least, this is our scaleless head lemon blast male we recently picked up from Constriction Addiction. If you haven't seen the unboxing video, go back and check it out. I thought it was really cool. You can really see it's an excellent example of the morph with the scaleless portion. We did this one last. We still have to disinfect everything once we finish working with it. And before we work with it, because of cross-contamination, since it's still new. But I am really excited about this animal, what it can bring to us. You know, we can start running scaleless into a lot of different things. You know me, I'm going to stick into some recessive, I'm going to stick into some xanthic. This thing has been awesome. It eats like a beast for us. It's never missed a meal since we've got it. It is still a little cranky, still a little getting used to us. And honestly, we don't handle it that much as we've let it kind of settle in and tried to keep it, you know, as separate as we possibly can, even though we have to bring it here for filming and things like that. But it's going to do great things for us, and I do think it will be breeding in 2019. Alright guys, you have seen almost all of the snakes we have, at least all of our ball pythons. We did skip a few for various reasons, whether it was because they were in shed, or you know, one because we're trying to do some work on it. I didn't want to stress it. But otherwise, you've seen pretty much everything we have in our collection currently, even the ones that are waiting to be shipped out, as soon as we get a little bit of warm weather. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Make sure and say thanks to camera guy Kirks. I can tell you, just like in our feed video, we had to do a lot of editing. That guy is in for a ton of work over the next few days getting these all ready to go. All right, Kurt, you got any questions before we go?
No.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll do this again. I kind of enjoyed this video, so we'll probably do more of these, but we won't do them too frequently. Just kind of update you on what we get as time goes by.